The North is a land of stark, unforgiving beauty, where winter is a relentless force and darkness can last for months. The Vikings, 1,000 years ago, faced a daily battle for survival in this harsh climate. The cold was a constant, lethal threat. Without shelter, a person could perish in hours. The landscape was beautiful, but offered little comfort. Dense forests, jagged mountains, and wild seas. To survive, the Vikings needed more than strength. They needed ingenuity and resilience. They became masters of their environment, reading the seasons, finding food, and, most importantly, building shelters that could withstand the northern winter. Imagine standing on a fjord in winter. The air stings, the world is silent except for the wind and creaking ice. Yet, the Vikings made this place home, building communities and forging a culture that would echo through the ages. Their success was no accident. It was the result of clever engineering and a deep connection to the land. They didn't fight the cold, they learned to live with it, using its elements to create warmth and security. The Viking longhouse was more than a building. It was a sanctuary, a fortress, and the heart of their society. This masterpiece of practical design allowed them to conquer the frozen north and build a legacy that endures. The story of Viking survival is a testament to human adaptability and the power of a well-built home. How did the Vikings create warmth and life in such a brutal environment? The answer: the long house. More than a place to sleep, it was a workshop, barn, community hall, and fortress. Its simple appearance hides a carefully engineered solution to surviving the cold. The long, narrow shape and low profile were deliberate defenses against winter's fury. Built from wood, stone, earth, and fire, every material was chosen for strength and insulation. Step inside, and you feel the immediate sense of shelter. The wind fades, the air is still. The longhouse was a buffer between people and the hostile world outside. Its secrets lie in the walls, roof, hearth, and even the animals that lived within. The longhouse was not just built on the land, it was built with the land, a symbol of human ingenuity and survival. The first line of defense was the longhouse's walls, sophisticated engineering disguised as earth mounds. Vikings knew trapped air is an excellent insulator, so they built double walls packed with turf. Thick blocks of turf, roots and all, were stacked between timber frames, creating walls over a metre thick. This massive barrier kept the cold out and trapped heat inside, maintaining a stable, warm environment. The turf was readily available, easy to work, and provided superb insulation. In winter, snow added another layer of natural insulation. The Vikings essentially wrapped their homes in a living blanket of earth and snow. This method is echoed in modern eco-homes and survival shelters. 1,000 years ago, the Vikings turned the landscape itself into their greatest ally. Their walls were not just barriers, they were shields against the cold. The genius of turf insulation was a masterstroke in using the environment for survival. The roof was just as vital as the walls in the fight for warmth. Vikings built multi-layered roofs, timber rafters, a base of planks, then a waterproof layer of birch bark. Over this, they piled thick turf, creating a heavy, living blanket that trapped heat and resisted wind. The turf roof grew grasses and wildflowers in summer, blending the house into the landscape. In winter, snow added even more insulation. The living roof made the longhouse almost invisible, a natural part of the land. This wasn't just camouflage, it was harmony with the environment. The roof was a testament to the Vikings' ability to use nature's cycles for shelter and survival. At the heart of the longhouse was the central hearth, the source of heat, light, and community. Positioned in the middle, the hearth's radiant heat warmed the entire space evenly. Stones lining the hearth absorbed and radiated heat, keeping temperatures stable. Smoke was managed with simple roof vents, allowing it to escape while retaining warmth. the upper reaches filled with smoke, preserving timbers and curing meats, while the living area stayed clearer. Managing fire and ventilation was a daily skill, balancing warmth and air quality. The hearth was where families gathered, cooked, and shared stories. It was the beating heart of the home, pushing back the cold and darkness. The central hearth made the longhouse a true sanctuary in the frozen north. One of the Vikings' cleverest ideas was housing people and livestock under one roof. The longhouse was divided, one end for the family, the other for animals like cattle and sheep. Livestock generated body heat, raising the temperature and supplementing the hearth's warmth. This biological central heating benefited both people and animals, ensuring survival through brutal winters. Tending animals was easier and safer indoors, and manure was collected for fertilizing fields. The longhouse was a shared sanctuary, reflecting efficiency and sustainability. Every element was interconnected, a cycle of mutual support in a challenging environment. The North's ferocious winds could destroy poorly built homes, but the Vikings designed their longhouses to defy them. The low profile hugged the ground, reducing wind force on walls and roof. Long, narrow, and often curved, the shape let wind flow over and around, not against. Orientation mattered. Narrow ends faced the wind, and sites were chosen for natural windbreaks. Entrances were few and protected by porch-like extensions, creating an airlock to keep warmth in. Every detail, from shape to placement, was about stability and protection. The longhouse was a fortress against the elements, built to last through the harshest storms. Viking design turned the wind from an enemy into a manageable force. Inside, life was organized for warmth and togetherness. Raised wooden platforms along the walls served as benches by day and beds by night. Families slept close, sharing body heat under thick wool and fur blankets. Vikings were masters of wool, weaving it into heavy, water-resistant clothing, tunics, trousers, and cloaks. Layering was key: linen undergarments, wool tunics, and a heavy cloak for extra warmth. The longhouse was intensely communal. Several generations, farmhands and servants all under one roof. Privacy was scarce, but community was strong. Shared warmth and companionship were vital for survival. The fire's glow, simple lamps, and the sounds of daily life created a world apart from the frozen darkness outside. The longhouse was a microcosm of life, providing everything needed to endure until the sun returned. Community and clever clothing were as essential as the shelter itself. Today, we have advanced technology, but the wisdom of the Viking longhouse is more relevant than ever. Their use of local natural materials is the foundation of sustainable building. Thick earthen walls for thermal mass, passive heating, and simple ventilation are now celebrated in eco-architecture. The Vikings mastered passive design, using shape and materials to control climate without complex systems. Their homes were self-sufficient ecosystems, providing shelter, warmth, and community. In an age of climate uncertainty, their model of resilience and self-reliance is powerful. The longhouse teaches us to understand our environment, use resources wisely, and rely on each other. These lessons are timeless. Survival is a collective effort, and community is as important as shelter. The Viking longhouse is not just a relic, it's a blueprint for a resilient future. Ancient wisdom, harnessed for modern times, is the secret to enduring any storm.